Good morning, welcome to the Hawthorn Cottagecraft Vlogmas 2020. We're at that stage of the year again and I'd like to welcome you into our home as we just get prepared and have our run up to Christmas here. I'll be vlogging for the next 24 days, I hope. Hopefully every day, maybe every other day, depending on what's going on. We're obviously restricted as to what we can do because of the virus, but hopefully we'll still have good fun in our preparations. I'm going to have my breakfast now. It's very early in the morning and I'm hungry, but I'll get back to you later and let you see what I'm getting up to today. December the 1st also means Advent calendar time. I have created Advent calendars for the two kids and for Peter this year. I wanted them to have, there's the sweetie one that they always get a sweet each from every year. But this year I wanted to do a different Advent calendar for them. And I looked to see what I could get. And I certainly could get any amount of Advent calendars for Amy. Maybe I'm wrong, but being a girl, it was just so much easier. There were beauty calendars, there were different calendars, but I didn't want to get her a generic one that every day would have the same thing or type of thing in it, and found it very hard to find one for James unless it was Lego based, and he's just not into that anymore. And not really anything for Peter. So I thought I would put together one myself for each of them that is just different bits of pieces in it, and it works out an awful lot cheaper as well because you can decide what to do. Some of the branded Advent calendars are very expensive. So I put that together for them and they've already opened theirs today, but they didn't want to be recorded, so that's fair enough. They enjoyed theirs, but it's time for me to open mine. And that's very exciting. I have this one, this is a bag I've had for a few years from an Advent calendar that I did. It was a swap I did with Kathy, who's local to me. We did it a few years ago and I kept the bag. So I have filled this myself. This is my own. I did an Advent calendar, put together an Advent calendar for Selma, who has little big knits, and sent it off to her. We had done a swap last year and I just wanted to send her one this year again. But I kept exactly the same yarn so that we can do a project together. So I know what's in here kind of, I just can't remember what and in what order. So it'll be a surprise too, but it'll be exactly the same as the little ball, hopefully, that Selma pulls from hers. I'm going to open that one first and see what I've got there, and later on I'll show you what I'm going to do with the contents of this. So I have this one to open, but Selma did send me an advent calendar. It's a weekly one, and she sent them all, and I'll put a little bit of footage of the set. She wrapped them in these lovely little cotton bags and a little tag, and it says December the 1st, so I've got the right one. And I'm going to open that one now and see what I've got. So there's one a week. I'll get one on the 8th and the 15th and the 22nd. And then there's a little parcel under the tree. So I'm really excited. This has been sitting on my sideboard for the last couple of weeks. We both posted early just in case with the situation we wouldn't get our things. So let's see. Looks intriguing. Oh, it's heavy and it rattles. Oh my goodness. A beautiful mug. She knows I like my mugs. That is lovely. And oh my goodness, the smell that has just come out of that has just brought me to a certain place. I'll show you the contents of the mug because it's stuffed. David's tea. Just the smell, I feel as though in the shop. Lots of teas. A week of teas to keep me going, so one a day I can choose. Oh my goodness. And Lindor chocolate's my favourite. More chocolates. 2 little minis. So this is what will make my project slightly different from Selma's, and I'll explain that later when I start the project. So I have 2 little mini skeins, which are I would assume, actually I'm not sure which one is which. One of them is Arctic Crafts by Bente. Rock Garden, and the other one is Fine Fish Yarns. So it's coming home again from Terry. So it's back in Northern Ireland again. So those are lovely. So that is the yarn, and there's another little thing. She knows my love of all things Canadian. So a little pin of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So that is a lovely start to the Advent. I will make a cup of tea in that. I will do a random pick from the David's Tea Haul and enjoy that later. So that is that one. The little box is beautiful. That will come in very useful. Thank you, Selma. So my own calendar, number 1. We'll see what this brings us. Such a surprise. Now, I had to add a sweetie, Bailey's. And the first one, which actually ties in with the colours from Selma, it's this one, which I think again is Fine Fish Yarns. So those 3 will work well together. In the project, which I will show you later. So that was today's Advent, this one and my chocolate. And I'm looking forward now to tomorrow, see what tomorrow brings. This morning you will have seen that I was knitting on my Christmas socks. I had started those and I haven't an awful lot of it done, but I wanted to show you the yarn that I was using and just how I've got them set up. I knit Christmas socks every year, and the array of Christmas colours out there are just beautiful from the different yarn dyers. Last year I did the Cozy Knitters 24 stripes, and I would have seen that it's another beautiful skein this year again. But I decided to keep it a bit closer to home this year with my Christmas colourway. And there's a yarn dyer that I have loved for years but have never purchased from. And this year I thought for Christmas this is the perfect time. So that is London House Yarns. And pop onto her website and see, it's londonhouseyarns.co.uk. Her colours are just beautiful, and she does a lot of themed, particularly around Harry Potter colours. But this one is Merry and Bright. And this is the colour, and it's just so pretty. I had planned to have two beautiful little skeins caked up because I want to knit these at the same time, so I needed to split the ball. And I had started to cake them up the other day, and my ball winder breathed its last, as is my tripod. Technical difficulties, I'll just have to hold it. So the balls are very untidy, but they are what they are. The ball winder has seen its last days. So I got those ready, and I am doing a contrast cuff, heel and toe. Now the yarn came with this mini to do that. Now I like doing the cuffs, heels and toes, the contrast colour, and I wasn't quite sure if there would be enough in that, and I had a ball of this in my stash, and it is Fable, Drops Fable, and I just thought that would be perfect. Colour is 106. It's just red, plain red. Oops. So that's going to be the contrast cuffs, heels and toes, and I wanted to be able to start the colour part of it today. So yesterday or last night I cast on and knit the cuff of each sock. So both were done and ready to go for the colours. So this morning I have so little of this done. I started, and I'm going to do a few stripes of the colours today, not doing it hard and fast that I only do so many a day. I'm just going to work through because I would really love to have these for Christmas. And I'll get this one, first one done, and then I'll work on this one today and get it done too, so that they're both at the same place. And although you can't really see it yet, the pattern that I'm going to do is probably not surprising to anyone who's watched any of my podcast episodes. It's a Crazy Sock Lady pattern. It's my favourite of hers to date. It's the heel toe do-si-do. I love that pattern. The socks I'm wearing at the moment are that pattern. And it's just a really fun pattern to do with self-striping yarn. So that's the pattern I'm going to do, and when I get down a little bit you'll be able to see it more. It's hard to see at the moment. So that is my sock knitting. I'm going to work a little bit at those this morning. Just have a cup of coffee here and work on those, and I'll see you later. Today a fabulous parcel arrived. Of course there's a customs fee to pay, but it will be worth it. I am really excited to see what is in here. Anyone who knows me will know why this excites me so much. I am a huge C.S. Lewis fan and have been since I was a very young child. C.S. Lewis is a Belfast boy, and we're very proud of him here in Northern Ireland, and a lot of the stories are based around places here. So they're very special stories, and they certainly influenced my life and my future career. So when I saw that Dragon Hoard Yarn, Tristan had dyed a series of yarns based on The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and Narnia, I just had to get something from the collection just so that I had something. So I got the mini skein set, and I've taken it out of the plastic because the rustling is very loud. And this is the set. And the colours are just stunning. It is her Sprite sock base, and this is Spare and Tea with Tumnus, one of my favourite characters. Cherry Cordial, Lantern Waste, and Always Winter. And these contain gold stellina, so they are just perfect for a Christmassy cast on. And I think this will be the makings of a cowl, and I'm planning to make this my Christmas Eve or Christmas Day cast on this year. I will look for a pattern and make something with it, but I am so excited to have these. So as I said earlier, when I was opening my advent, I was planning a cast on and an advent knit based on the yarn that I got from the advent calendar. So I sat down this afternoon and cast that particular project on. It's a project I am doing with Selma of Little Big Knits, and we're going to do it together. The basic shape of what we're doing will be exactly the same, but I think our finished objects will probably look very, very different. So the project we decided to work on is this. We had looked at all the different advent projects that there are, and we've enjoyed working on the different projects that are very specifically advent projects that have been produced in the last few years. But this time we wanted something slightly different. We didn't want socks, we didn't want a blanket, and we thought we would do some garment knitting, because we both, as you know, love garment knitting. This is the Caramel Cardigan, and it's by Isabel Kramer. And as you can see, it's described as a simple blanket style cardigan. It's very loose, there are no buttons, no fastenings on it, and it kind of falls over the different sides. You probably could wear a shawl pin or a clasp if you wanted to keep it fastened. But it's quite just a casual comfort blanket of a cardigan. So we've decided that we are going to follow basically the numbers and the recipe for this project. As you can see on the pattern, the actual intent of the cardigan is to do stripes, and ours will be striped, but they might not be as uniform as that. Mine certainly won't. I actually think that this will be my Mrs. Weasley cardigan from the Chamber of Secrets, where she wears the quite zany cardigan. It might be slightly more refined than hers, but maybe not very much. So we're using the little mini skeins that we're getting each day. We'll try and knit them up on that day. It might just not happen that way. This project might fall further over past Christmas Day just because of the nature of the size of it. So we're using our mini skeins, and we're also using mohair. This particular pattern is written for double knitting yarn, and the little minis are fingering weight. So in themselves they would be too light, but held with this lace weight mohair, it'll create a double knitting effect. The mohair that I'm using is Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and the colour Cream, and it will also soften the colours and hopefully blend the colours together a little bit. The nature of an advent calendar, the colours will come out randomly coloured. I certainly didn't organise them in any particular order. They're just put in very randomly, and that's the way I intend to knit mine. I don't know if Selma will organise hers a little bit more, but I'm just going with the flow and knitting with what comes to me. So this afternoon I had a great time getting this started. I really don't like big long cast-ons, but once we got past that, I am now knitting on the rib of the neckline, and I've got about an inch of it done. I've about another inch to do, and it's just a simple 1x1 rib at the moment. But just look at that halo. This is so soft, and this will be the most comfortable cardigan. It will probably be, just by the very nature of its craziness, be something that is worn in the house, but I don't mind that. I find shawls fall off me when I'm wearing them in the house, so this will almost have the effect of the shawl, but with sleeves. So I'm really pleased with it so far, and that's what I've been getting started on. The next two colours are quite similar. This was my first little ball, and the next two colours, as you saw earlier, are quite similar. They are little minis that Selma sent to me, so already there will be a slight difference in the order in which my colours come to hers, because I have a few extras, and she might throw in some extras of hers too. So that's where we're going, holding these together. I'm quite well on with this little ball. I'll soon be putting in the next one, and again, it's just wherever the yarn runs out, I will add it in. I don't think I'll be that particular that I'll feel as though I have to start at the beginning of a row before I add in a new colour. Although that might go against the grain too much. We'll see. I'm just going to take it as it comes. But at least I got that started. I've my 2 Advent projects off the ground, and we are cruising along with those now. The socks are working well, and this little cardigan. And this evening, once dinner is over, I have dinner working in the background here, and once dinner is over, it's going to be a nice quiet evening. And something I'll talk about tomorrow is self-care, and a little self-care routine that I'm going to start in the evenings. I'm very good at morning self-care in that I have because I get up so much earlier than everyone else, I've nearly 2 hours where I can just relax and work into the day. But my evening routine is a little bit more haywire and less predictable. So I decided that I would start a little self-care routine for December, and I'm going to start that tonight, but I'll talk about that tomorrow. So that's my plans for this evening. Work a little bit at my new routine, and work a little bit more on my projects, and I can show you their progress tomorrow. So until tomorrow, I hope you have a lovely evening and have really enjoyed your first day of December, and I'll see you tomorrow.